So we begin talking about India, Sri Lanka, and the next important parameter we have to discuss is the economic cooperation and trade. Whenever we talk about relations of two countries, it is very important to understand economic relations are very, very important. Two countries always cooperate on economic grounds with each other. And hence it becomes important and necessary to understand the nuances behind it, or how economically two countries can cooperate with each other, how trade can be possible. So in India and Sri Lanka is one of the largest trading partners of India in South Asia. Not only that, India on the contrary, in turn is Sri Lanka's largest trade partner. This simply signifies that India and Sri Lanka are in good relations with each other. Trade relations are very good between them. If we consider them as a good trading partner, they also consider us to be a good trading partner. So this is something that we understand very clearly here. But the trade between the two countries has grown, particularly after the entry into force of India-Sri Lanka Free Trade Agreement. Now, when two countries have a free trade agreement compliance with each other, it is easy for them to get into, you can say, cooperation with each other. Or at the same time, we can say that the two countries can get into better trade relations with each other. So, whenever there is an agreement in place, both the countries have to comply with the, you can say, clauses of the agreement. They have to understand the problems areas of this agreement related to it and every particular nuance behind it. So India and Sri Lanka got into a free trade agreement. The free trade agreement in the year March 2000. This simply tells us that after 2000, they have increased their trade with each other, because when there is a free trade agreement in place, it makes it much simpler for a country to trade with each other and there is less complication. Hence, India and Sri Lanka FTA in 2000 has actually helped both the countries in order to, advance their relations, or you can say in order to increase their relations with each other. And at the same time, there has also been an increase in the bilateral trade. The bilateral trade in the year 2015 between India and Sri Lanka amounted to 4.7 billion US dollars. Why I'm giving you data? The giving of data is very simple, because whenever there is data you can use it while you write your answers. You have to substantiate every time your answers with the data. So bilateral trade in 2015 amounted to 4.7 billion US dollars of trade. And at the same time, exports from India, exports from our country to Sri Lanka in 2015 were around, you can say, 4.1 US billion dollars. This was the export rate that existed in the year 2015. This simply shows that we are actually contributing in the form of export to, to Sri Lanka. But what are we getting in return? We are getting immense amount of revenue. If we are doing 4.1 billion of export, that means our country is earning revenue. And whenever a country is earning revenue, it will never let go of that country at all. Every time we will choose that country over other countries, because we are getting benefit out of trading with them. If we are selling goods to them, we get money in return, we get revenue in return. If we get revenue in return, that is going to automatically help our economy to grow. So why will a country, jeopardize its condition over there? Obviously, it will try to make the trade relations better with such a country where such huge amount of export and trade is involved. So this is something that we understand when we talk about the cooperation between them. Now, according to Sri Lankan customs bilateral trade, which took place in 2016, it was around 4.38 billion US dollars. This is huge amount of trade that has taken place in 2016 and so on. If we count the current data or the current amount of trade that is going on in India and Sri Lanka, that is also increased. So that simply shows that economic cooperation and trade between the two countries is at the very, very large scale, and we cannot compromise our position with Sri Lanka at any cost, because obviously we are also getting benefited and they are also getting benefited. Number one, close proximity. Trading with a country which is in close proximity is much cheaper than trading with a country which is at a far distance. Secondly, many of the goods can be exported or imported very, very easily. Third, there is a route that can be followed. There is, and at the same time, other kind of ethnic issues also get resolved when two countries cooperate on economic grounds. So this leads to cooperation between two countries and obviously will help to boost the economy of both India and Sri Lanka. I hope there's no doubt.
No, ma'am.
Right. So what I'm going to tell you is what is the recent trade, you can say, between India and Sri Lanka? How much of trade does India and Sri Lanka do? So now in 2020, we're not very sure about it, but let me tell you, we have been doing huge amount of exports and also imports from Sri Lanka. And when we talk about India's imports, I'm giving you data, you can actually note this data down, which can help you to substantiate your answers. What are the products basically that we are involved, we import from Sri Lanka? This is a separate question. Mostly you will be every time searching for answers key, what are the things that we export to them? But on the contrary, your question can come opposite. Sri Lanka, what Sri Lanka imports from India and what is India importing from Sri Lanka? So I'm giving you a list of the products that we are importing from them and what they import from us. So Sri Lanka imports from India. There is a huge data that is there. I don't want to get into that. I'll give you 2-3 data that can be possibly given as examples, but you don't have to note down everything or you have to remember everything. The first thing that Sri Lanka imports from India is the pharmaceutical products. The pharmaceutical products, this is something that we are importing from, Sri Lanka. The second product is sugars. Or Sri Lanka is importing from India. Sugars and sugar confectionery. And then cotton, mineral fuels, oils, distillation products, iron and steel, knitted or crocheted fabric, machinery, nuclear reactors, boilers, vehicles, other than railway, tramway, salt, sulfur, earth, stone, plaster, lime, etc. And at the same time, also coffee, tea, meat, and spices. You know what is the highest import Sri Lanka imported from India? It is the pharmaceutical products. Yes, because of the requirement of the COVID pandemic, it was around 250.60 million US dollars in the year 2020. This was the highest. And second was sugar and sugar confectionery, around 233.65 million US dollars. And then so on, cotton for 222.40 million US dollars. This is the amount of import Sri Lanka had done from India. So we can understand that these are the products that we are selling, we are giving them, and hence we are also benefiting, out of it. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Moving on, so you can actually remember the data for pharmaceutical products, 250.63 million US dollars. You can remember just one data, just giving an example. Like, for example, sometimes you get a question on India and Sri Lanka. If you need to present the data, I think this data can really help you to, substantiate your answer and your point, that how much of trade is actually the trade that we're talking about. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, we are moving on to the next part, which is the development cooperation. See, the conclusion of armed conflict that saw the emergence of major humanitarian challenge between India and Sri Lanka, and nearly 3 lakh Tamil civilians were housed in camps for internally displaced persons, because people got really disturbed over there and they were displaced from one location to another. Government of India put in a place of a robust program. Government of India said that we will give a assistance or help to these displaced people to return to normal life as quickly as possible, so that we are all out of the situation of this grim situation of conflict between the two countries. So what is the kind of facilities that we did for them? What are the areas that we did in terms of development cooperation? So construction of 50,000 housing units, rehabilitation of northern railway lines, wreck removal and removal, establishment of vocational training. Along with that, construction of cultural construction of a center at Jaffna, okay, and restoration of the Tirukiteswaram temple also took place. This is what India did for them, the development cooperation. And Sri Lanka is one of the major recipients of development credit given by the government of India, with total commitment of around 2.6 billion US dollars. Like, we have committed to them that we will be providing you this much of development assistance. And hence, it is important to understand that we are also not providing only development cooperation, we are giving them grant in aid. Grant in aid is whenever they need money, they ask for some amount of help from India. India is providing around 436 US dollars, billion US dollars of a million US dollars of help, in form of grants to Sri Lanka. So also a line of credit facility is being provided. Line of credit facility, which is amounting to around $800 million for track laying and supply of rolling stock to support construction railway lines. We are also helping to provide them the construction facility for railway lines in the northern Sri Lanka. There's this thing happened in the year 2014 that there was the construction of Palai Jaffna. Palai Jaffna, they constructed railway track and signal system was inaugurated by reconnecting Jaffna to Colombo by rail. If you remember in the first class, I had drawn a map completely for Sri Lanka. So railway track and a signal system is drawn in order to connect Jaffna with Colombo. This will help people to better connect with each other, and obviously inter-country trade will become easy, traveling will become much easy. And also at the same time, India has also helped them to provide an emergency ambulance service. This was launched in Sri Lanka on 28 July 2016 under Indian grant assistance. India had provided grant to them. So India provided emergency ambulance service also to them. This involves at least 88 ambulances, western and southern provinces, and also setting up of an emergency response center and first year of operations. What does that mean? If there is an emergency call in case of any problem happening anywhere, the service has to be provided, the ambulance has to reach on time so that the patients or the particular people who are traumatized don't have to suffer. And also India provided them another assistance of 167.4 million US dollars for the tsunami damaged Colombo Matara rail link, which has been repaired and upgraded. I'm just telling you the name of this so that you know ki disaster management ke context mein how we have helped them. So they have, India has helped them to reconstruct or repair the Colombo Matara rail link. This has been repaired and upgraded. So this is all it that we talk about the development cooperation that is there, and definitely we are helping in a lot of other kind of projects as well that keeps going on. So we can always update our notes with respect to current affairs. Whenever something comes up in news, please make sure that you put up here and try to update in your current affairs every time, in your notes every time. And now, last but not the least, this is something which is the last nail in the coffin, which is the China factor. Without China, we cannot discuss India-Sri Lanka relations. It's very important to understand what is going on between India and Sri Lanka and how China is influencing it. So when the leadership of Mahindra Rajapaksa was there, during his tenure of 2005 to 2015 in Sri Lanka, there was a tilt towards China. It was very clear that China is one of the nations that they look forward to. They believe China is a good nation, or they believe that it is a friendly nation. So this era saw projects, this era of till 2015, there was a construction of projects like the Hambantota Port, Colombo Port City. These were granted to the Chinese. The Chinese got the grant of it because the government, the leadership over there were tilted towards China. And construction of Hambantota Port was completed and operations began in the year 2010. It was part of a slew of mega infrastructure projects. There was a mega infrastructure project which had to be launched in Sri Lanka. So by then, Sri Lanka President Mahinda Rajapaksa, whose family hailed from the coastal city of Hambantota, all of them were funded by Chinese loans. Everything was funded by Chinese loans at that time, which stoked apprehension in New Delhi, that is in India, about Rajapaksa's government red carpet for Beijing. That means Sri Lanka was offering a red carpet to China, and India over here was getting concerned कि हमारे दोस्त या दुश्मन nation क्या कर रहे हैं आपस में. So during this, the current government, what happened? Hambantota Port has been handed over to China on 99-year lease. तो 99-year lease के लिए उनको दे दिया गया as part of a debt for equity swap. And now, obviously, Indian government would get concerned here because if China is providing development assistance to Sri Lanka, bend can be that side, right? So in May 2017, what happened? Sri Lanka had rejected the Chinese request to dock a submarine on its port. China wanted to have, to dock a submarine on Sri Lanka as one of the ports, but Sri Lanka refused it. However, if you talk about the previous years, Sri Lanka would have agreed if it was a previous government. Sri Lanka has also been a supporter of the Belt and Road Initiative. This is also one of the concerns. The Belt and Road Initiative of China, in the Sri Lankan government, or you can say Sri Lanka, has been a supporter of it. So Sri Lanka's estimated national debt, the national debt that it has to pay, Sri Lanka as a country, is amounted to $64.9 billion, of which 8 billion is owed to China. Out of this, $8 billion is something that they have to pay to China, owe to China. This can be attributed to high interest rate on Chinese loans. For the Hambantota port project, Sri Lanka had borrowed $301 million from China. And also they have to pay interest on it. So ye to bahut zyada ho jayega. And how will they pay back this money? So the interest rate on the soft loans from the World Bank and Asian Development Bank, if we talk about, अगर हम World Bank से लोन लेते हैं या Asian Development Bank से लोन लेते हैं, तो इंटरेस्ट रेट होता है 0.25 to 3%. इतना इंटरेस्ट पे करना पड़ता है कंट्रीज को. बट ये जो श्रीलंका से इन्होंने लोन ले लिया, उसका इंटरेस्ट रेट है 6.3%. तो ये तो पैसा ही पे करते रह जाएंगे ना. एंड इंटरेस्ट रेट ऑफ इंडियाज लाइन ऑफ क्रेडिट टू नेबरिंग कंट्रीज आर लो एज 1%. अगर इंडिया किसी नेबरिंग कंट्री को लोन देता है तो वो 1% के इंटरेस्ट रेट पे देता है. बट चाइना 6.3% पे दे रहा है, वर्ल्ड बैंक से भी ऊंचे इंटरेस्ट रेट पे. सो इमेजिन व्हाट इज द अमाउंट ऑफ डेप्ट दैट इट हैज टू पे टू चाइना. ये इनका जो कॉस्ट है $8 बिलियन, वो उतना नहीं है. ऑब्वियसली उसके ऊपर दे हैव टू पे इंटरेस्ट आल्सो. So it becomes a huge amount of money, and that is why they have a national debt, because of which somewhere the China factor cannot be ignored. And now we are talking the last and the most important segment here, why India is interested in Sri Lanka. What makes India so much interested there? So the airport, the Matala Rajapaksa International Airport in Hambantota, 250 kilometers south from Colombo, was built with Chinese assistance. China has built it for them. And more than 90% of total cost is borne by them. This project or this airport is running into losses, and Sri Lanka is unable to pay back dues to China. Sri Lanka is not able to pay money back to them. So ironically, Sri Lanka may now hand over the airport to India so that it can repay the Chinese loan, and India is in advanced talks with Sri Lanka to operate the airport. So India will be operating the airport, and what will happen, India can pay the cost so that, there is a balance that can be maintained. India is also interested in developing a container facility at Colombo port. India says that it wants to develop a container facility. I want to give you a short context over here. So there is a crisis with respect to, we say that water ke through trade is very cheap, cost effective if we do it through waterways. But in India, we have waterways, but we are not able to utilize it. Only 6% of trade is done through waterways in India. Rest of the trade, like 59% of trade is done through roadways, and the rest of it is done through railways. So we are not utilizing our waterways effectively. If we are able to build container facility in Sri Lanka, we will be able to have an inter-regional connectivity of trade with all the countries, and it will help us to have a port, or we can have a container facility which can we can put down our goods over there and we can transport it from one place to another. It will become much easier. That is why India is interested to develop a container facility there. And at the same time, RBI has also done an initiative. RBI says Sri Lanka's location is very important for us, for India's maritime security also, and China's interest for that matter is that maritime Silk Route. China wants to have a maritime Silk Route through there. So India is strongly asserting against China, which is trying to build strategic assets in the garb of infrastructure projects. What China is doing, they are trying to make all the infrastructure projects around Sri Lanka so that they can surround this area and enter into the Indian Ocean region. So India has conveyed to Sri Lanka clearly about the security, and Sri Lanka has assured, it has said that it will not allow anything against India's security concerns or interest. And in the context of the Hambantota port, India has a hope, that security assurances inserted in the concession agreement would be scrupulously upheld in the future. We will be able to uphold all the security facilities in the future as well. And from here, we end the topic of India and Sri Lanka. If there are any recent developments taking place, there is anything that comes up in the news or the current affairs, you're always free to edit your notes and reform your notes better, because every time that there's a news about anything in IR, it's important that you note down it, be it facts, be it figures, be it the recent projects, whatever. But we have done most of the static portion till here. You don't have to face any problem. If you get any question, you'll be able to handle it, trust me.